Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am the Omni Viewer, here with another unscripted reaction to a movie I just saw. In this case, it's Wonder Woman, the latest entry in the DC Extended Universe, aka the shared cinematic universe that everybody seems to unanimously hate so far. Except for me. I'm actually on record saying that I don't hate the DC movies, which I realize I'm in the minority of, but it's true. I thought Man of Steel was good. I thought Suicide Squad was good. God help me, I thought Batman v Superman was good. I still got enjoyment out of it somehow. I'll save my explanations for another day, but look, I know some of you already know this about me. So when I say that a DC movie is good, you're probably thinking, well, I don't really trust him. But no, you really have to trust me on this. If I thought the other DC movies were good films, Wonder Woman is great. Like, no exaggeration here. Wonder Woman is a great movie. Like, perhaps one of the best of the whole year, if you're asking me. It's that great. I mean, yeah, I don't want this to just be me constantly repeating that it's great, but it really is. This is how you do a Wonder Woman movie. Heck, this is how you do a superhero movie. And as I've said before, it's about darn time that Wonder Woman got a movie. I mean, come on. I know she got the animated thing. I'm talking about theatrical movies. Animated movie was good too. You should watch that. But this movie, amazing. And it pretty much did what I was hoping it would do in certain aspects. Like, in particular, a lot has been said about how this movie is set in World War I rather than World War II. And the whole time I have been praying that they would actually do something with it. Because, like, there are a lot of times where it seems like Hollywood is only aware of two wars, World War II and Vietnam. And they will focus, they are so laser focused on these two wars that they will take movies about other wars and make them about these. Like having a particular atrocity committed by the Nazis, take that and put it into the American Revolutionary War with the Patriot or something. But no, not the case here. I mean, they don't really go into the full nitty-gritty political backdrop sort of thing that went into World War I, but they really did. It wasn't just World War II, but earlier. That's the important thing. This is World War I. I mean, obviously not actual historical World War I, but pretty darn close. Yeah, they really made it work. They showed the atrocities. They showed that there really wasn't a single, there wasn't that clear divide between hero and villain, good and evil. Almost started out that way when Steve Trevor first arrives on Themyscira and the Germans follow him and he says he's one of the good guys but those are the bad guys. A part of my mind thought, uh-oh, are they actually going to just be like Nazis before Nazis? But no, they didn't do that. Not all the way. I mean, you're obviously going to hear a lot of people saying that the main German bad guy, Ludendorff, was basically just a Nazi a couple decades earlier, but everything else I think they made work. And I mean, they couldn't really go full out. Like I said, you want to do a movie about World War I and really how horrible it is, it would have to be R-rated at least. This is obviously a PG-13 superhero movie with high fantasy elements, so they're not going to go fully visceral, but they still got the tone right. There's still that specific atmosphere of this is a pointless war. And there are no enemies, there are no good guys and bad guys, there's just this endless war that needs to stop. And that was an important thing to include. So kudos to them on that, definitely. And like, Wonder Woman herself, Gal Gadot, or Gadot, however you pronounce her name, she rocked this movie. Like, yeah, she's one of those, she's gonna go down in history, I think, because a lot of people, like, they were always skeptical of her, and like being in a movie as universally reviled as Batman v Superman, I'm sure didn't do her many favors. But yeah, I think it was a good choice, especially after this movie. I mean, I've conversed with friends and whatnot, and the question has always come up: how would you cast Wonder Woman? Because obviously Linda Carter can't do it anymore, so. And she was amazing as Wonder Woman as well. I mean, obviously she'll always be the icon that everyone strives for after her. But there's still that question of who would you cast, and we never really could come up with an answer most of the time, because it's not an easy role to fill, and I honestly think Gal does a great job, especially in this movie. This is a good portrayal of Wonder Woman. Exactly like the comics, no. Exactly like in the cartoons, no. It's its own thing, but still feels like it's faithful to the source material, I suppose. It really does. A lot of people didn't think that Superman felt like Superman in Man of Steel. This feels like Wonder Woman. I really do. I think a lot of people will say, yes, that's Wonder Woman. And what else? I had so many other things. I don't want to give too much away because I try to keep these spoiler free. But yeah, I don't really know if there's much more to be said. The plot takes some interesting turns. Like I said, no spoiling, but like, I mean, there are a couple things you might guess, but okay, let me put it this way. There are a couple of plot twists, again, not giving any away, that you'll probably figure out early, and yet the way they play out doesn't make it feel like, oh, well, saw that coming a mile away. It's more like, oh, so that's what happened. Wow. Like, it really actually feels like they put a lot of thought into making this work. I'm not saying that those plot twists still feel like surprises necessarily, especially since, like I said, you can call them generally, but you forget to roll your eyes and say, yeah, I called it, because they're just handled that well. Yeah, what more can I say? Go see this movie. I mean, other people have apparently been saying that it's the best of the DC movies so far. And, I mean, the current movies, the shared universe movies, best of them. And I have to agree. Like, this is how I remember now. And this isn't really a spoiler, but if you're wondering if Wonder Woman is about gender politics, like the specific movie, if you're wondering if that's about gender politics, you may be surprised. It's not. I mean, they throw in a couple of things like, since it is 1918, like how uncouth it is that a woman is in the House of Lords. But otherwise, they don't really focus on that. This isn't about feminism in really any capacity. Wonder Woman's the hero, and they just let that speak for itself. And they don't make the men around her useless idiots. They are all worth standing by her, basically. Steve Trevor is, well, I don't want to give too much away. I don't want to focus too much on this, but it's more about the nature of war and the nature of man, well, nature of humanity, than it is about the age-old man versus woman conflict. That doesn't play in. And I find that incredibly refreshing, because that way, fewer things to complain about, right? I mean, one less thing for people to latch onto and continue to widen the gender gap on both sides. Instead, we can just sit there and say, wow, that's a cool movie. Isn't that cool how Wonder Woman's deflecting all the bullets with her bracelets and there are these big explosions as she's fighting, well, spoilers, but yeah, I just wanted to mention that. I think it's not a bad thing. If you were hoping that this would be some sort of grand girl power thing, I mean, it's not that it's not a girl power thing, it's just that it doesn't shove it in your face, I guess is what I'm saying. It just lets Wonder Woman being Wonder Woman speak entirely for itself. And which is as it should be. Because, I mean, she's Wonder Woman. She doesn't have to prove herself. She already has like 70, 80, whatever years of comic book history and being one of those icons of American culture, of world culture, really. She has all of that to already establish that she's proven herself. So, didn't put it in the movie? I'm not complaining. And I just know that this movie's gonna do well. Obviously, people are loving it. And you just know that there are going to be a whole bunch of other female-led superhero movies after this. There have been a couple before, despite the narrative that some people have been trying to push, and I've seen quite a few of them trying to push it. Wonder Woman is not the first female-led blockbuster superhero movie. I'm sorry, everyone, but no matter how hard you wish otherwise, Elektra and Catwoman still happened first. But the key difference is, and Supergirl happened long before, but the key difference is Wonder Woman is great, like I keep saying. And this pretty much disproves that odd superstition Hollywood's had that female-led superhero movies are box office poison, which is the whole reason why it took us till 2017 to get a Wonder Woman movie, whereas Spawn, for some reason, got one back in the 90s. But yeah, I can just see a whole bunch of them being greenlit now. We already know Joss Whedon's doing Batgirl. We know Marvel's going to bring in Captain Marvel next year, I think, or in a couple years. I don't quite remember. But yeah, those are the only two thus far, but I just know there's going to be more after this. And as well there should be. I mean, why not? There are plenty of female superheroes out there, plenty of great characters in their own right, and it's only appropriate that Wonder Woman should be the one who's leading the charge on that front. So yeah, those are my thoughts. Wonder Woman's a great movie. I can only say it so many times before it starts to sound like white noise. So, yeah, you know, even though I said I disagree with people who hate the other DCEU movies, I still understand why they don't like them. Like, I can get why people don't like Man of Steel and Batman v Superman and Suicide Squad. Just because I don't agree doesn't mean I don't get it. But I will have a very hard time understanding anyone who says they do not like this movie. Like, if there's a backlash against this one, that'll just prove to me that it's all a big Marvel fanboy conspiracy, because I don't see how you could hate it. So, what did you guys think? Have you seen it? Did you like it? Did you not like it? You know, feel free to leave your thoughts below, as always. So, yeah. Just to make it absolutely clear, Wonder Woman is great, and that's all I have to say on the matter. So until such time as we meet again, this is the Omni Viewer, signing off.